Hello to Miss Azira. Now I will present about my persuasive speech, which is should voting be mandatory? So without wasting the time, let us begin. So one fact about the voting in Malaysia is voting age in the country have been changed to 18 years old. However, it is important to note that electoral regulation and fact about voting may change over time in July 2019. Malaysia Parliament has approved a bill reducing the voting age for general election from 21 to 18 years old. 211 out of 222 lawmakers said they support the attachment to Malaysia Federal Constitution, which is allow the change to be introduced. The topic of required voting causes intense debate and conversation among the residents. In Malaysia, it is necessary to examine the benefit and drawbacks of making voting mandatory in order to voice the civic involvement and the democratic underprinting of our country as we negotiate the complex side of our democratic environment. The previous Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir, have said Malaysian youth are now more politically awareness than in the previous year. This step is needed to give them the opportunity and space and voice to design the country democracy through the election. This remark highlight the significance of giving Malaysia youth the resources and opportunity to actively influence the country democratic trajectory while also acknowledge dynamic character of the country voter. So, should voting be mandatory? The answer is yes. It is because promoting mandatory voting is essential to build a strong democracy since it fundamental component of the encouraging civic engagement, guaranteeing diversity and attaching fair representation among voters. This is why I am here today to inform every one of you here why should people go out to voting. So the firstly is education and awareness. In any democracy, the foundation of effective governance has lies in the informed citizenry. A well-informed electorate is more likely to make a decision that align with their value and the collective interests of society. Unfortunately, low voter turnout option correlate with the lack of politically awareness. Advocates for mandatory voting argue that by making a participant compulsory, there is a greater incentive for government to invest in educational programs that enhance citizen understanding of political issue. Mandatory voting can serve as a catalyst for the development of comprehensive civic education initiative. This program can include information about the political process, the function of government institution, and the implication of policy decision. By cultivating an electorate that understand the complex of governments, mandatory voting becomes a mechanism for fostering a political literal population capable of making informed choice. Number 2 is representation and inclusion. First is addressing demographic inequality. One of ongoing challenge in democracy is uneven representation of various demographic group in the electoral process. Certain groups such as young voter and the marginal community often experience lower turnout. By narrowing a participant gap among different demographic groups, mandatory voting ensure that the governments and the is more representative of the entire population. It is about fostering a sense of common citizenship and resisting the marginalization of voice that may be drawn in the system with low voter turnout. Number two is enduring representative government. The basic principle of representative democracy is that the government should reflect the will of the people. However, when turnout is low, the risk of the government not representing the people is increased. Mandatory voting will serve as a hedge against the risk by forcing a wide segment of society to participate in election. The number three reason is enhancing democratic values. Number one is reinforcing political equality. Democracy drive on the principle of political equality ensure that every citizen has an equal say in the governments of our nation. Mandatory voting acts as a powerful equalizer, bridging gaps in participation among the various demographic groups. By making it an obligation for all, we reaffirm our commitment to the society where every voice, regardless to the socio-economic status of background, holds an equal weight in the shaping of the future. So, in conclusion, we have an important reason why the mandatory voting is a beacon of strength for our democracy. As we ponder this exciting benefit, I urge each of you to consider the transformative impact that mandatory voting can have on our democracy. It is not simply a matter of duty, it is an opportunity to shape a more vibrant and responsive political landscape. In other words of Abraham Lincoln, democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. This timeless wisdom encompasses the essence of democratic ideals. Each ballot cast is not just a mark on the ballot. It is thread woven into the fabric of our collective destiny. As we consider the profound of mandatory ongoing, let us remember that the strength of our democracy lies in the active participation of its citizens. Together, let us be architects of our thriving democracy, strengthened by the power of our united voices. That's all from me. Thank you.